Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something that, it feels like the future, but it's actually happening right now. It's changing everything, how we connect, create, even how we work and what we own online. And look, this isn't just for the tech crowd anymore. Serious leaders, forward-thinking companies, they're already investing, already strategizing. So, our mission today, to really unpack the metaverse and Web3, we're drawing heavily on George Bickerstaff's insights, especially his work, Embracing the Metaverse and Web3, published by the global leaders. We want to figure out what these things really are, why they matter so much now, and honestly, what it all means for you.
Yeah, and to sort of frame this, there's a great quote from Matthew Ball, who thinks a lot about the metaverse. He says, "The metaverse is not a place, but a moment in time when our digital lives become more meaningful than our physical ones." And Bickerstaff's analysis really digs into that idea. It's about a shift much bigger than just new gadgets or software.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Many of us have heard the term metaverse thrown around a lot. But Bickerstaff, in his work, seems to push past the hype. How does he define it? Is it just fancy VR?
That's a really good starting point. Bickerstaff sees it less as one place and more like a network, a whole web of interconnected virtual places. Think environments where we interact as avatars, working, playing, even buying things. It's a mix, right? Augmented reality, VR, sure, but also gaming platforms, social media, all blended into these immersive 3D experiences.
Okay, interconnected spaces.
Exactly. And the key thing Bickerstaff stresses is interoperability. The idea that you could potentially take your avatar, your digital stuff from one virtual world to another is meant to be this persistent sort of digital layer over reality.
Interoperability, that makes a huge difference. Okay, so if the metaverse is that landscape, how does Web3 fit in? Is it separate tech or are they intertwined?
Oh, they're deeply intertwined. You could almost say symbiotic based on Bickerstaff's view. Web3 is like the plumbing, the foundational layer that makes the kind of metaverse Bickerstaff envisions possible. It's built on blockchain. And its whole promise, which Bickerstaff hits on again and again, is shifting away from big, centralized platforms controlling everything.
Towards decentralization.
Precisely. Giving users more control over your data, your online identity, your digital things. It's about decentralized apps, dApps they call them, and these token-based economies where value isn't just extracted, it's shared. So put them together. The metaverse becomes a place where you don't just visit, you actually own a piece of it. Bickerstaff makes this really clear distinction for you. You're not just logging into websites anymore.
You're stepping into experiences.
Exactly, stepping in as an owner. And instead of just handing over your data, you own it. You might even monetize it. And it's all verifiable on the blockchain, transparently. It's a total rethink of how digital power works.
A rethink? That sounds massive. And Bickerstaff seems convinced this is happening now, that we're at a tipping point. Why the sudden acceleration? We've had virtual worlds for ages.
He points to a kind of perfect storm. Firstly, the pandemic.
Yeah.
COVID-19 massively pushed us towards remote work, online communities, e-commerce. It basically prepped us culturally for more immersive digital life.
Made us more comfortable with it.
Right. And at the same time, you had the maturing of blockchain tech, especially platforms like Ethereum. That opened the door for DeFi, decentralized finance, and NFTs, these new ways of owning digital items, and even new governance models using tokens. These big forces just collided.
Okay, so it's not just games anymore. Bickerstaff gives some pretty interesting real-world examples, doesn't he? Beyond entertainment.
Absolutely. He makes it really clear. He talks about global business conferences happening entirely in persistent virtual venues, concerts with millions of digital attendees. Even things like VR therapy sessions, offering maybe more comfort or accessibility for some people. And job training, complex stuff like surgery or mechanics, being practiced in realistic simulations without real-world risk. It's all about deeper engagement, new forms of access. And Bickerstaff frames this whole thing as moving away from platforms that just, take value from users.
Like our data, our attention.
Exactly. Towards ecosystems that are designed to share value back. He argues that companies jumping on this early, figuring out co-creation and ownership models, they're the ones likely to lead. It's not if anymore, he says. It's how we build this future.
Okay, let's dig into that strategic side. Bickerstaff calls Web3 a fundamental re-architecture of business value. That sounds significant. What does that actually look like for a company moving into the space?
It gets really interesting here strategically. Bickerstaff lays out how Web3 brings this totally new model for interacting online. It's built around, ownership, real participation, and transparency. Think about token economies. They don't just reward consuming. They reward contributing, co-creating, even helping govern the platform or project.
Like DAOs.
Exactly. He points to decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, these community-run projects where token holders vote on decisions. But also big companies, using NFTs for loyalty programs, creating digital twins, virtual copies of physical things for design, or even accepting crypto payments. And what Bickerstaff really highlights is the potential for businesses to build direct relationships with customers, less reliance on the big tech giants as middlemen.
Because of the blockchain.
Right. Smart contracts can automate deals, track who owns what transparently, cut down on fraud. So yeah, Bickerstaff's point is Web3 isn't just a tech fad. It's a strategic shift in how value actually moves around online.
That's a huge shift. And what about for us as individuals? Bickerstaff talks a lot about digital identity and ownership. How does he see that changing from, our current world of usernames and passwords?
Yeah, this is a point Bickerstaff really emphasizes. Think about Web 2, our current internet. Your identity is mostly tied to accounts owned by companies, usernames, passwords. They control it.
We're kind of renting our digital space.
Kind of, yeah. But in Web 3, the idea is you own your digital wallet. That wallet is your secure, decentralized ID. It's your key to access apps, assets, communities. You control it. And NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are a big part of this too, according to Bickerstaff. They're like digital deeds. Proof you own a unique digital thing, art, a domain name, virtual land, whatever.
So it's provable ownership.
Provable, immutable ownership. This is already shaking up art, but Bickerstaff sees it impacting education credentials, real estate titles, loyalty programs. It makes your digital identity portable, verifiable, truly yours. This reduces dependence on third parties, boosts privacy. It gives you, as he says, a direct voice and an undeniable stake in the digital world.
That idea of having a stake is powerful. So beyond the theory, Bickerstaff shows the metaverse isn't just an idea, it's being built. What kind of new frontiers is he seeing open up for brands or collaboration or how companies interact with customers?
He points out it's happening fast. New canvases are opening up everywhere. You've got virtual real estate people buying, developing, selling digital land, essentially creating virtual storefronts or venues.
Seriously, virtual land.
Yeah, it's a thing. And fashion brands designing digital clothes for avatars, whole virtual wardrobes, schools creating immersive classrooms that go way beyond Zoom. Bickerstaff also talks about companies experimenting with virtual offices for collaboration, launching products in these cool, interactive 3D spaces, telling stories in new ways to really grab people's attention. It's about deeper connections, different kinds of interaction.
Okay, but with all this cool innovation, Bickerstaff doesn't shy away from the challenges, right? The ethical stuff.
Yeah.
What does he warn leaders to keep an eye on?
Absolutely, he stresses that. It's not all smooth sailing. Beyond the tech itself, he really emphasizes focusing on user experience, making it good, making it accessible to everyone. And security, obviously building that in from the start. But he goes deeper into the ethics. Like, what rights does your digital avatar have? How do we protect people's virtual identities from being stolen, harassed, or exploited in these spaces?
Yeah, those are tricky questions.
Very. His point is, just being in the metaverse isn't enough. It has to be about meaningful, safe, and fair interaction for everyone involved. These are the really complex, real-world issues Bickerstaff argues leaders need to tackle head-on.
It definitely sounds like a complex new world to navigate. And Bickerstaff mentions risks beyond the obvious tech hurdles. What are some of the potential downsides or regulatory headaches he brings up?
He's quite clear that the potential is huge, but so are the risks if we're not careful. Beyond the usual cybersecurity worries, he talks about data privacy in new contexts. Also, digital addiction, the pull of these immersive worlds. And a big one, exclusion.
Yeah.
Well, the digital divide. Not everyone has the high-end hardware or fast internet needed. This could actually make inequality worse if we don't actively design for inclusion. And then there's the regulation maze.
Right, like who's in charge if a DAO breaks a rule?
Exactly. Or how do governments tax crypto earnings effectively? How do you protect consumers in this decentralized space without killing the innovation? It's tough. Bickerstaff really pushes for balance from leaders and regulators. Encourage the growth? Yes, but strongly uphold rights and responsibilities. And for companies. Build in trust, ethics, transparency from day one. Don't bolt it on later. His key message here is really important. Caution should not lead to paralysis. Being proactive, facing these challenges, that's the safest way forward.
It's good he balances the hype with the reality, but he also sees potential beyond just business, right? The purpose beyond profit idea. What examples does he give for using this tech for good education, health, things like that?
Yeah, he definitely sees massive potential there. For education, he imagines these highly interactive, adaptive virtual classrooms. They could cater to different learning styles, maybe make quality education accessible anywhere in the world. In healthcare, he talks about remote VR therapy again, how it could lower barriers, increase comfort for mental health support. Think about public health campaigns too, using gamified, immersive experiences to reach younger people with important messages.
Making it stickier.
Right. And he even notes humanitarian groups using blockchain for aid delivery, making it more transparent, ensuring money gets where it's needed. So Bickerstaff's vision is clear. This tech can serve purpose, not just profit. But the challenge, he stresses, is designing it inclusively, ethically, right from the start. Tech for good, he says, must be more than a slogan. It should be a blueprint.
That's a great point. And what's really fascinating, and Bickerstaff seems to agree, is how artists and creators are right at the heart of this. They seem to be driving a lot of the cultural energy. How does he see their role?
Oh, absolutely central. Bickerstaff describes artists, musicians, designers as being sort of the pioneers of Web3 culture. You see it everywhere. Digital art as NFTs, virtual fashion, brands built entirely by online communities. He gives great examples. Musicians dropping albums as NFTs that give fans special perks, maybe even a cut of the profits. Museums creating virtual galleries anyone can visit. Independent creators making a living building fan bases directly without needing the old gatekeepers.
Cutting out the middleman.
Completely. Bickerstaff sees this as more than just new tools. It's like a fundamental shift in ownership, how we express ourselves, how we tell stories. Creators aren't limited by geography or industry rules or physical limits anymore. As he puts it, the canvas is infinite and so are the audiences. It's an explosion of digital culture.
Okay, this is all incredibly exciting, maybe a bit daunting too. So for you listening, Bickerstaff offers some practical advice. How can someone start exploring the metaverse and Web3 without needing, a computer science degree? What are his first steps?
Yeah, he makes it clear you don't need to be a coder. For individuals, his advice is simple. Start learning. Maybe attend a virtual event, dip your toe into platforms like Decentraland or the Sandbox just to see what they're like. Consider setting up a digital wallet just to understand how self-custody works.
Just get your feet wet.
Exactly. And for organizations, he suggests small pilot projects. Test out an NFT loyalty program maybe. Try collaborating remotely in a virtual space. Run some internal workshops just to get your team familiar with the concepts. But the key advice he gives is, focus on the problems you're solving, not just the tools. Don't use the tech just because it's shiny. Find real needs where it offers meaningful innovation. Be curious, be strategic, but start small.
That sounds very sensible. And just as important, what should we avoid doing? Does Bickerstaff warn against any specific pitfalls as we navigate this?
Yes, he lays out 5 key don'ts. First, don't just dismiss it all as hype without really trying to understand the tech and the cultural shift. Second, don't just jump on the bandwagon. Adopt tech only if it fits a real need and aligns with your values.
Makes sense.
Third, critically important, don't treat digital identity and data privacy like an afterthought. They have to be foundational. Fourth, don't ignore the culture the communities driving this are key.
Immersive.
And maybe the most crucial, don't wait for full maturity, start learning and building now. Don't wait until it's all figured out because you'll be behind. Really, Bickerstaff's core message comes back to this. The shift to the metaverse and Web3 isn't just technical. It's deeply cultural, deeply ethical. Leaders need to lead with values, equity, transparency, inclusion. He sees this as a genuine opportunity, maybe a rare one, to build a better internet. One that's more user-centered, where people truly own their data, shape their communities, and engage immersively, but with purpose.
Wow. Okay, this has been a fantastic deep dive into George Bickerstaff's thinking on the metaverse and Web3. Let's try and nail down maybe the top 5 takeaways for you listening. 1, the metaverse isn't one place, but interconnected, immersive environments for everything from work to play. Interoperability is key.
2, Web3 is the engine, built on blockchain, giving users real control over data, identity, and digital assets.
3, for businesses, this demands a strategic rethink. New models for value, community, and ownership are emerging.
4, innovation needs to walk hand in hand with ethics, regulation, and ensuring access for everyone. Thoughtful leadership is crucial.
And 5, getting started early, learning and experimenting with purpose offers real strategic advantages down the line. Don't wait.
Exactly. And Bickerstaff's work leaves us with this powerful thought. The digital world is fundamentally being rebuilt right now. The choices we make, the things we build today will shape how we live and work for decades. He really challenges us all. Lead with vision, build with integrity, embrace the transformation.
An incredible challenge and a great place to leave it. Definitely gives us all something to think about regarding our own place in this evolving digital future. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.